Hey everyone, and welcome to this video where I'll be taking you through my 2025 Quad Cortex NAMELESS preset. I've spent a bit of time working with this preset to make it really optimized for live performances, so we'll run through that in this video. I'll share all the sounds, all the settings with you, as well as leave in the comments below a direct link to the Cortex cloud where you can download the preset yourself for your own Quad Cortex. So let's dive into Cortex Control, and I'll take you through all the scenes and the configurations, as well as how I think about using the Quad Cortex in a live setting. Okay, so here is the NAMELESS preset that I've set up for live performances. First of all, let's go through each element one by one, and I'll talk you through the lanes as well that I've set up and how I use it in a live setting. So first up, we've got the NAMELESS Utility 14 Zool for a noise suppression. Then we run into the wah pedal, which I have an expression pedal on my Quad Cortex board, which I use in this setup. Then we run into the dual compressor. Then we use the 14 hex drive from the plugin. Then the 14 grind. Then we have the flanger, which is stock in the Quad Cortex. Then we go to row 3, which is straight into the 14 NAMELESS amplifier, imported from the plugin. Then we use a plugin graphic 9 EQ, and as you can see here, it's scene mode on every single parameter. So this means that every single scene that we can change the frequency curve slightly depending whether it's a solo boost, whether it's a clean sound, or a more high gain saturated tone. Then we have the NAMELESS delay, the NAMELESS reverb. At this point in the chain, what happens is the signal continues on that row into a low and high cut, as you can see there, as well as the NAMELESS cab. And then out one would go into the front of house or a PA system. But what I like to do on a live setting is essentially run to front of house, but also have an on-stage cab for volume, and just to have that air movement. So what happens here is the goes to the bottom row, of which there is a separate EQ if we want to tweak it for the particular stage that we're working on. And then that bypasses the cab completely, and then that'll go into out 3, which is a cable which will go into a power amp, or the Seymour Duncan power stage, which I use, and then that goes into a passive cab on stage rather than an FR speaker. Now, there's a lot of debate about whether FR speakers are just as good as a guitar cab, and some people say it's unnecessary going into a power amp, but I particularly like it, and I feel the difference when I'm particularly in the rehearsal studio. So that's how I set it up, and of course this could be redundant for your preset, but it's in there if you should want it. So the way that I've set things up is the cleanest sounds on the far left and the most high gain sounds on the far right. So in terms of the bottom row on the Quad Cortex foot switches, that is E, F, G, and H. Now E is the pure clean tone, F is the low gain tone, G is the mid gain tone, and H is the full on extreme high gain tone. First of all, let's go through A, which is a flanger effect on the clean sound. Okay, so moving on to scene B, which is essentially scene F, but with the delay and reverb pedals added into it. So it sounds something like this. So nice edge of breakup tone. If you have humbuckers on your guitar, it's pretty thick sound. And if you use single coils, it really makes it still quite a clean tone, which I can show you right now on the split quarter setting. Moving on to the next scene, which is scene C. So in this scene, we've now got the mid-gain tone with a delay and reverb added as well. So at this stage, as you can see, the amp settings have changed, but the EQ has also changed from before. And in fact, if I just toggle back from the clean EQ here, you can see what the graphic line EQ looks like. And if we move to C, you can see it's changed quite considerably to really help get the solo tones through the mix, because this isn't really meant for ringing out chords. It's more meant for lead playing. As you can see, it's quite a nice lead tone. It's a little bit saturated, but it's not so saturated. So it would suit over a distorted guitar as well as a clean tone, jazz fusion, all that sort of stuff. So it's very versatile, I think, this particular lead tone on the scene C. And what we're moving to next is scene D, which is more meant for that high gain solo that really cuts through in the heavier sort of setting. So let's move to scene D now. And you can see a slight change in the amplifier. But what we've also got engaged is the hex drive. So you can see the settings on the screen right there. So let's hear what that sounds like. So a lot of fun, and definitely cuts through for that higher distortion kind of music, metal, hard rock, etc. I find all these scenes that I've taken you through really give a great palette to work with, from super clean to modulated to edge of breakup to high distortion. And when I first got the Fortin Nameless X plugin, I thought it was just a high gain monster plugin, but hopefully, as you can see, it's a really versatile plugin that actually has some really sweet clean tones and edge of breakup stuff. But I hope you like the sounds of this preset. I'm looking forward to using it in the next rehearsal, and I'd love to hear how you get on with it as well. So make sure to leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are, what you would change, what you'd improve on, how you might change the settings for your own personal preferences. And thank you to all the new subscribers over the last couple of months as well. The channel's grown quite a bit in the last few videos, so I really appreciate everyone who's subscribed, contributed, and left comments below as well. But for now, that's all, and I'll see you in the next video.